Why does a guy ghost me? When everything seems to be going well, why does he do a complete 180 and stop all effort with me? Well, in today's video, I am finally gonna answer that question that a lot of you have. If this has happened to you, I'm gonna reveal to you why this does happen that a man will never tell you. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kit, your personal dating coach, and I am very excited to share today's video with you because I'm going to dive in deep in detail why a guy suddenly ghosts you. This is going to be very informative about the psychology and the behavior that men have when it comes to dating. There's so much packed in today's video, so get comfortable, get some tea and biscuits, get some wine and some cheese because we are going to delve right in. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I have to say that. Now let's get into the video. There's a very common theme with a lot of women when they start dating someone new. A guy will show massive amounts of interest, he makes all the effort with you, he's texting you, he's being very playful, he's being very charming. You go on a few dates and the dates go really well, you have great chat, great banter, things are going really well. And then out of nowhere, he just ghosts you. He doesn't message you. He doesn't ask you out on another date. It's almost like you don't even exist to him anymore. And this is such a contrast to how he was maybe as recent as 2 weeks ago. And then as things start to build, as you start getting more and more excited about seeing him, he just cuts it off. And it makes no sense. And not only does he leave it in the air, but with no explanation. Why does a guy do this? Well, this is the reasoning behind everything. So first, we need to understand a few things. We need to acknowledge that any guy that you are interested in, other women are going to be interested in. We can't get around that. Women are generally more pickier than men are. So when you find a man who you feel is very suitable, other women are also gonna find him very suitable. I'm sure some of you have heard of the 80-20 rule, that 20% of guys get 80% of female attention when it comes to dating and sexual partners, all that. So what that means is if you put a random 10 guys and a random 10 girls on an island, chances are 7 or 8 of those girls will want the same 2 or 3 guys. It's the whole thing of wanting the cream of the crop, wanting the top 10-15%. So when you see a guy that has great qualities, like he's tall, attractive, he's funny, he's intelligent, he's masculine, he has great morals, all these great qualities you see in him that makes you go, yeah, he's definitely the kind of guy that I would choose. Other women also think the exact same thing. Now, if other women are interested in him, then he is going to be exploring those other avenues. Because unless you are in a relationship with a guy, he is not committed to you, nor are you committed to him. If you go on 1 or 2 dates with a guy, it is unreasonable for him to expect you to be joined at his hip where you're not even open to anyone else. And that same rule applies for him. So anytime you date a guy, you should date him with the assumption that he is dating other women. I know you can rewind that, but I'm gonna say it again just to emphasize this point. Anytime you date a guy, you should date him with the assumption that he is dating other women as well. Now, I know some of you ladies date multiple guys at the same time, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with exploring different connections you have with different people. You have every right to do so. So that still doesn't explain why a guy ghosts you. The reason a guy ghosts you, and this is the honest truth, unless it's to do with a life event like a family member dying or he literally moved country, 9 times out of 10, the reason a guy will ghost you is because he has chosen the girl in which he's going to invest most of his time in, and you are not that choice. That is the honest truth. Now, some of you may be thinking, okay, well, if I'm not that choice, why can't he just tell me? Why does he leave it in the air for me to wonder? Why does he leave me alone to figure it out? Why can't he just tell me so that I can move on? The reason he doesn't tell you is because he doesn't want to close that door to you. And what I mean by that is if he came to you and said, oh, hey, look, I've been seeing someone else and I really want to see where it goes, so we can't see each other anymore. You would be like,
okay, that's fine. That chapter is done. Move on to the next one.
Because essentially what he just told you is that you are not his first choice. Heck, you don't even know if you're his second or third choice. So if he came back to you, why would you be open to it? Because you're not going to be like,
oh yeah, well, I know I was your second or third choice, but what the heck, let's just see how it goes.
Why would you do that? No one wants to do that. Nobody wants to be someone's second choice. And he knows that. He knows that if he tells you this, the chance of him having something in the future is slim to zero at best. But if he doesn't tell you, If he leaves you guessing, it leaves it up in the air. No concrete decision has been made yet. And that's not saying that you would have something with him in the future, but that's also not saying that you definitely wouldn't have something with him in the future. Because just for a moment, I want you to think like a guy for a second. Let's say that he's dating a few girls and there's one girl that he's really vibing with, and he thinks, you know what, I really want to give this a chance, so I'm going to stop seeing the other two. But he doesn't tell them that, he just ghosts them. A couple of months down the line, things with the said girl that he chose doesn't work out. He is more likely to be able to just pick up where he left off with the other two girls. So he reaches out to them like, hey, I haven't seen you for a while, would be good to catch up. And then what do a lot of girls do?
Well, why is he messaging me? Like, I haven't messaged him for a while. Wait, does he want to date me? I can ask him, why hasn't he messaged me up until now? Why hasn't he asked me out on another date now? Maybe I can get some
Closure. Oh, that word is so dangerous. So then you meet him, and by meeting him, you allow him back into your life. You allow him back into your world. And if he's back into your world, he then has a chance to have another go with you. Now, I'm sorry, but if a girl said to me that I'm not her first choice, then girl, bye. Like, I wish nothing bad upon you. I wish you all the best for your life endeavors, but this is not for me. The door is closed, the chapter has finished, the fat lady has sung. And I would expect, or at least hope, that you would be the same way. And this is why he doesn't tell you. This is why he ghosts you and doesn't say a thing. Because until he's in a committed relationship, he wants to keep his options as open as possible. But you know what? Let's say he does message you and you go to meet him. Because like a lot of people, you want to get some closure. You want to get some answers to your questions. Even if it's not going to work out, you just want to know why. And this is the biggest mistake that you can make. Because if you loved spending time with him before, why is that going to be different now? You're going to still enjoy his company. You're going to see all those qualities about him that made you fall for him in the first place. You see him, you ask him why, he gives you some elaborate answer like, oh, my work took over my life, or I was out of the country. And you'll believe him because you have a good heart and you want to see the good in people. You catch up, have more fun than you expected, and you leave that date thinking, it was so good to see him. I had so much fun with him. I forgot how good he makes me feel. I forgot how sexy he makes me feel. And then you see him again, and again, and again. And then before you know it, you're dating again. And let's even say this time, you're having sex with him, and then he ghosts you again. And it's even worse, even more painful, because this time you're even more invested. You're even more invested emotionally, and you're even more invested physically. So what I really want you to take away from this video is I want you to imagine that every guy you date now moving forward, I want you to imagine that he is mute. Imagine he couldn't use words. Imagine that he couldn't speak. The only way that you can judge what his intentions are by his actions. A man communicates with his actions. If his actions show that it's just a friendship, then it's only a friendship. If his actions show that he's only in it to have sex, then he's only in it to have sex. By the way, if you are in a situation where you think that's the case, make sure to check out my video where I go through detailed signs that he is just using you for sex. But if his actions do not reflect the same intentions that you have, then he is not the one for you. It doesn't matter what he says, doesn't matter what he texts, doesn't matter what he tells your friends, he is not the one for you. And no matter how much closure you may want, no matter how much you may want to ask why, I promise you, knowing why a guy behaves a certain way is overrated. Closure is overrated. The why doesn't matter. All that matters is the what. What is he doing? How is he behaving? What does that tell me? I'm thinking of doing a video on closure and why we feel we need it and how that really impacts us in positive and negative ways. So if you feel that is something you want to watch, let me know in the comments below. If you're looking for the man to spark your love life, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. And as always, keep it slick.
How?